So there are more problems for James Franco, as James Franco, he will be deposed over that certain Aquaman starlet. That's right, he's going to be deposed, not subpoenaed, as questions will be asked about this video, the relationship behind it, and so much more. Now this information, it has been confirmed, by the way, not just in the media. I managed to confirm it myself through sources, and what's fascinating about it is all the information that's come up in the last year or so from business partners, from people bringing up his name, and so much more. Now, you and I, we are going to talk about this today and other things as well, and you need to remember this. James Franco is in the middle of trying to salvage his career. After 4 years, he's giving interviews. He's hoping Hollywood will let him back, and you know what? I don't think they will, and depending on how this plays out, I'm sure this deposition, it could get really interesting. Like I said, you and I are going to talk about that today. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. Oh, man. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And this, it is breaking news. You have James Franco indeed being deposed when it comes to that certain pirate and that certain Aquaman starlet, where he's going to have to answer some hard-hitting questions. And interestingly enough, he wasn't asked these questions when it comes to the UK 2020 trial. A lot of people, including myself, actually thought he was served. You know, he wanted to keep it private. He didn't want any of that information coming out. But you know what? He never, ever talked about what happened. Well, this time, he's going to have to answer those questions. And those questions, they're going to include things like this playing in the background. What happened on 05/22/2016? Now, if that date doesn't register with you, by the way, the allegations concerning that certain pirate star, they come up on multiple dates, but the last date, the worst one that is noted, that came up on 05/21/2016. Now, that certain Aquaman starlet says, hey, this person, they came over, they're a friend. Basically, we're just talking things out. Basically, he's consoling me. Well, does that look like what's going on here? And just to make sure you understand, that's the person that brought up James Franco. Wasn't the pirate that did it. Nope, not by a long shot. It was that person. Tried to use him as a character reference. Yeah, I wonder how that's going to play out. Now, as far as that deposition is concerned, we don't know everything that will come up in that. I'm sure, by the way, it's going to be private. We probably won't find out what happened behind the scenes, but I can tell you with certainty some of the questions that are going to be asked. How do I know that? Well, we have the subpoena that was delivered to him. Here's some of the questions to it. I mean, check these out here. So, document request number 1. This is an important one, by the way, because it looks at where all of this information is gleaned from. All documents or communications you reviewed and or relied upon in preparation for your deposition. How exactly did you get prepared? How exactly did you come up with your narrative? Were you looking at the mainstream media? Have you turned over everything? Are you still in communication with a certain Aquaman starlet? How exactly are you putting that together? And that, like I said, that is a very important question. And I can tell you, lawyers that are asking these things, they oftentimes know the answers before they're ever asked. Now, as far as that deposition is concerned, we don't know everything that will come up in that. I'm sure, by the way, it's going to be private. We probably won't find out what happened behind the scenes, but I can tell you with certainty some of the questions that are going to be asked. How do I know that? Well, we have the subpoena that was delivered to him. Here's some of the questions to it. I mean, check these out here. So, document request number 1. This is an important one, by the way, because it looks at where all of this information is gleaned from. all documents or communications you reviewed and or relied upon in preparation for your deposition. How exactly did you get prepared? How exactly did you come up with your narrative? Were you looking at the mainstream media? Have you turned over everything? Are you still in communication with a certain Aquaman starlet? How exactly are you putting that together? And that, like I said, that is a very important question. And I can tell you, lawyers that are asking these things, they oftentimes know the answers before they're ever asked. So question number 2. Now, request number 3 is when you start getting into date ranges. All communications between you and a certain person between May 20th, 2016, June 15th, 2016, May 20th, that's going to be the day before that final alleged incident. May 21st, there are so many things that are alleged on that day. May 22nd, you have the footage of the elevator. Again, when you put that all in, it doesn't look good at all. And that leads forward all the way to May 27th, where you have that DVRO, and May 28th as well, where there's photographs, where that evidence presented in the DVRO, it magically disappears. So request number 4. All documents reflecting your in-person interactions with that certain person at or near May 22nd, 2016. Basically, if you have text messages from then, if you have any allegations or on, we'd like to see exactly what you're discussing, how exactly all of that came up. And again, all communications going back to number 2, how long had this stuff been transpiring? Are you supposedly just coming over as a friend? Request number 5 here. All documents reflecting your in-person interactions with that nameless person at or near May 27, 2016, where she obtained the DVRO, that's a temporary RO by the gay, against JD. Now, as far as James Franco's statement, I have always wondered this too. Why exactly didn't James Franco take to the media saying, hey, I was defending that person? I mean, after all, he's been exiled for 4 years from Hollywood for things that he allegedly did. Yeah, that would actually help him. Now, for myself, I think that the reason he doesn't do that is because there's people that were once attached to him, people like Vince Jolivette here, that actually know what went on behind the scenes. Vince Jolivette, he gave a declaration too. He mentions his connection with James Franco during that time. He mentions they share an office with the charity, the Art of Elysium. That will be very important in the courtroom, by the way. And well, you have the sister of that certain person, Whitney. She's working there. Whitney and him, they become fast friends. They end up dating. Narratives, they get disproven, according to Vince Jolivette. Narratives that are being presented in the court, they don't match up with what he heard. And I know for a fact that people like Vince Jolivette, they know a lot about what went on with James Franco and that certain person. They know whether or not they were sneaking in, how long this stuff had been going on. And if that stuff had been going on a long time, well, that's going to hurt a certain narrative, and it's going to hurt it badly. You let me know what you think about this stuff, though. And like I said, this is new news. It's big news because we have confirmation that he will be deposed. He will be sitting down. That, oh man, that could go so many different ways.